People are getting a lot softer. You're with an employer, but you don't like the boys, so you just leave. I'm not saying that people just have to roll over and put up with shit at all, but people aren't voicing their concerns. Like they're not standing on, like they're not coming back to the employer and saying, hey man, like I don't appreciate that, or what I want to do. They're just leaving. That mentality of just being like, I don't deserve this shit, I'm going. That was never the case back then. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Insight Podcast. Today, we're doing a little bit of a different one. We're doing a solo sesh. Well, it's not completely solo. We got Nick in the booth again. So he's gone through our comments, gone through our messages, and he has tried his best to condense it down into some sort of questions that he's going to be asking me. So I have no idea what they're going to be, how it's going to run. So we're going to just raw dog this whole episode. And yeah, so here we go. Episode 4 or 3, I don't know. I think it's 4. And season 2 of the new podcast. So here we go.
Insight Podcast. Yeah. So like Corey said, I've gone through a bunch of old messages, comments, tried to collate as much questions as I could. I haven't credited anyone because a lot of people asked repeat questions. So if there was like a similar question, I just tried to put it in the form of a question that covered everyone's questions. Anyways, here we go. This person asked, why are employers wanting apprentices with 5 years experience before starting the apprenticeship?
Alrighty. So I don't really know what it's like for why people do that. I personally don't ask for that much, but I think what he's probably asking is that for the vast majority of guys coming through at the moment, and I'm talking for apprentices, we're seeing in the market at the moment a lot of international students, people that have immigrants that have come from other countries, or so with that, you might get a guy that might show on resume that he's 26, he's come from another country, which essentially he has no real experience of Australia at all. So it does get hard when you're trying to bring on apprentices that are not only you're trying to teach the trade through, how to read a tape measure, how to do this, but also they're trying to navigate a new country. So there's legalities around it from an employment standpoint. For people that don't understand what I mean is when you are trying to employ new people, you legally can't say certain things like age, like nationality, like male, female. You can't actually state that sort of stuff. So there is ways around that, and that's one of them, is stipulating, say, a larger timeline of 5 years pre-apprenticeship, which will weed out a lot of people like that. So, that's probably why a lot of guys do it. It's not really a requirement. It's more of a little trick that you can do when you're an employer trying to employ staff.
They're just trying to employers are just trying to put the staff through a funneling system or something.
Of course. I'll tell you guys a bit of a story because, I usually don't deep dive on this sort of stuff when we are, when I'm trying to answer questions in DMs and stuff like that, just because I don't have the time. But I'll tell you a story about us and how I've been able to learn this. So not that long ago, I think it was, by the time this comes out, maybe 2 years ago, we actually had one of our girls in the office had actually posted a ad for, and it ultimately comes down to me. I vetted the ad, posted an ad online, and this is how I know about when I eventually got caught. It was a lesson, and I did my research about it. Now we know. So at that moment in time, we weren't actually looking for adult apprentices, right? At that particular time, we were looking for, we just weren't looking for them. Yeah. So when we posted the ad, we said, and this is just a little bit of context, in the same sort of lane as this, just a little bit different, and this is how much drama you can cause if you don't get it right. So, and let me interject too. I'm not a fucking HR person. We don't have an army of people doing it. These are all the lessons that business owners will go through when you go from one guy to 10. During the early days, you got no idea. You're not going to know it, and I didn't fucking know it. Before anyone says, oh, it's your job, well, mate, it's not your fucking job because you got so many other things to worry about. That's not a priority. So, yeah, we posted an ad and essentially it said, I'll tell you, it basically said, we're looking for da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da. And at the end, it said, preferably not a mature age apprentice. And oh my God, did we get it fucking backlash on that. I had an old timer. I can't even remember who he was. Don't even remember his name or anything like that. Like, it's Friday night and he rang me at 8 p.m. while I'm trying to put my kids to sleep. Literally rang me on Messenger. He obviously was intoxicated or alleged intoxicated from what I could tell. Just blowing up over something so minuscule, and it was almost just an administration error on my behalf. And yeah, I had enough. I was a little bit annoyed at myself, but also I was a little bit annoyed at the fact that in Australia there is just no leniency. Like it was a simple mistake, and we corrected it on the spot, literally straight away. The simple thing of just editing the ad. That's what we did, and we apologized to any applicants that it may have affected. So, I'm also thankful for that fucking dipstick, whoever he was that did that. I can't even remember, for blowing his lid, because it forced me to do my research and understand the law with that. So now we don't do it. So yeah, little tip for you guys that are listening, definitely research. It can be as simple as a Facebook post. It doesn't matter. If you're trying to employ people, be very mindful on how you stipulate it. So yeah, there you go.
So this is just me asking, I'm curious. So you can't even do it the other way where you're like, I'm looking for adult apprentices?
Don't know.
Yeah.
A lot of the time you can't be implying age. So that's why and this is another little tip, the way you work around that is experience on years.
Yeah.
Because if I said to everyone, this is a little tip, right? If you're trying to get guys that aren't mature age, you would say early school leaver. Or another little way to play around with words is you could say, there's other ways that you can do it, right? We've got a HR department now, so it's a little bit different, but it's just a play on words, essentially, right? So, school leavers, you don't need much experience or anything like that. Or as you said, if it's the other way around, you could say, preferably someone, you can't say like preferably not a school leaver. You could say someone with X amount of years outside of school.
Oh, yeah.
You see what I mean? So it's a play on words. It's not you saying that they can't. It's just saying preferably someone with X amount of years post year 12.
Or just something like 2-3 years construction experience.
Correct, right? So essentially, just so you guys, it's all jargon, but it's just a play on words. That's why it is very important that people research how they're going to do it. And that's what I mean. At the start, I had no fucking idea. So these are things that now I know. So because there'll always be that retard that's got nothing better to do with their time, that is just looking to have a go at someone actually trying to have a go with their life. So, there you go. Like if I ever seen a guy doing that, mate, I'm not fucking commenting on that. Mate, they're having a go. Like, relax. It's not the end of the world. So, but according to this particular person, it was.
It was, yeah.
So
that's a good segment into our next question, which was actually asked by the same person. How do you deal with people? Sorry, right there. How do you deal with people who are stuck in the old head mentality in the industry?
I guess you try, you just don't. I guess in different cases, if you've got an employee, well, you're not happy, move them on. If you've got a client or anything like that, it really depends on the complexity of the person and what you're trying to navigate around. Like with that old head mentality, is it that they're just shit to be around? Do they treat apprentices like shit? Do they burn bridges with clients? For me, it's a balancing act. We employ, we've got an older gentleman that works for us. Fantastic, really good at his job, and he's valued here. And I was looking for that at the time. So I think it's definitely one of those things you need to balance it and understand what you're getting it for and what you're not getting it for. And, this is more related to employees that are underneath your thing. I think if it's clients and stuff, it's very simple.
Yeah.
If a client's a dickhead, just don't work for them. Simple. But if you're trying to employ, like for me, I actually don't mind that old head mentality in some facets. So, yeah, that it's just a balancing act.
Well, what like pieces of advice would you give to like more so like that dynamic, but like tradie to tradie? Say like one person on the team thinks like that.
Yeah. So if I had to put myself in a position, and I've been in it before, where I'm an employee working alongside someone that is rough, an old head, I think it's a way. I think it's just life. For those that have listened to the podcast, you guys would sort of know. So during my apprenticeship, I was one apprentice of 16 qualifieds at any given point. And that team of qualified guys, there was literally like no one under the age of 40, like during that.
That's crazy.
I think there was maybe 2 or 3 guys that were like in their 30s, but there was no one even severely close to me. So same thing. I just think it's good to be around because it sharpens you, it toughens you up. I don't know. The industry's changed a lot from what it used to be, for the better. I'm not talking about it being shit, but I just think using the phrase "it toughens you," some people look at that now as very, alpha male sort of situation, but it's not. It's not. Like, construction's fucking hard, man. Like, it is a tough industry to survive in, not only as a worker, but a business owner even more so. It is very fucking hard to survive in it. And I'm a strong believer in that, like, during your apprenticeship, when you're getting passed around to these tough heads, or you work with a guy, like, you need to take it with a grain of salt and be able to adapt. Obviously, there comes a line in the sand where it might get abusive and stuff. That's a different story. I'm not talking about that. No one should put up with that. But if it's a simple case that you just clash personalities, you don't watch the footy and he does. He drinks beer every afternoon and you don't. You like going to the gym and he likes pumping smokes. Mate, you just got to learn to fucking work around that. It's simple. And I think it also makes you a better tradesman as you progress, and business owner if that's the route that you want to do, because not everyone's going to align with your values and all that sort of stuff. You need to learn to get along with everyone. And if they don't like getting along with you, smile and wave. You don't have to stoop to that level. So I don't know. That's my one piece of advice. It's probably not what a lot of guys would want to hear, but that's the reality
I agree.
of it.
Obviously, there's nuances to everything,
100%.
but I don't think there's like anything inherently bad about coming out with thicker skin.
Yeah, and I think people, as I've seen it now happen and evolve over the last couple of years, is like people are getting a lot softer in certain situations. You're with an employer, but you don't like the boys, so you just leave. Or you're with an employer and you don't like how he talks to you, or you don't like this. Like, I'm not saying that people just have to roll over and put up with shit at all, but I'm finding more so now that people aren't voicing their concerns. Like, they're not standing on, like, things might change. They're not coming back to the employer and saying, "Hey man, like, I don't appreciate that," or "I don't want to do." They're just leaving. Like, I don't fucking deserve, like, that mentality of just being like, "I don't deserve this shit, I'm going." Like, that was never the case back then. no one had that mentality. And that's what I mean. It's a fine line between, is it better or for worse? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's a bit of both. But I think we're definitely losing people just to, as soon as something gets hard, they leave. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, it's a lot more passiveness now rather than just just confronting it.
That's it. You don't need to confront it aggressively either.
Yeah, I think that's what people get confused with.
Yeah.
They think confrontation is like this big, scary, bad thing.
Yeah.
But it's literally just putting it out as bluntly as it can
That's
be.
it. If you don't like someone, you just say, wait, man.
Yeah.
If you don't like working with someone, you go and talk to your boss about it. Is he going to move you? Probably not. And to be honest, I get a lot of guys that come to me that say that they like working with these people and don't like working with them. I keep that in mind, but I also give them the guidance in the leadership to say, listen, just because you say something doesn't mean you're going to get it. And I think that's what I mean. It's like, I'm going to be mindful in that situation. I'm going to talk to that person to improve them as well. But it does not mean that you're never going to work with them again. Like, you need to learn to survive in that environment. So, I might move them and then I'll move them back or whatever, and that's what I mean. It's a hard one because a lot of people would probably preach, fuck it, you don't need to put up with that. There's better shit out there. Probably. But are you just going to do that your whole life? You're going to do that when you get married? You're going to do that when you have a kid? As soon as something gets a little bit too hard and doesn't align with you, you're just going to fucking leave. That is what I mean, is on the other side of that softness that a lot of guys aren't talking about, is there's so many other layers to it. And that's what I mean, is I think the more people lean into that and just be okay with it, how does that really improve your life? Because I'm telling you now, if you're doing that with an employer, what are you going to do when shit actually gets hard?
Yeah.
With your marriage or your finances or, fuck it, I don't deserve this shit, I'm going. What? It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So, I think all these people who have that, grass is greener mentality, they just don't fully take the responsibility.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
There are moments in time where it may be better.
Yeah.
But I think you need to look at it from a different lens rather than, I don't deserve this, I'm just going to fucking do that, and find the pattern with yourself, right? If you've done that numerous times over your career, well, you need to start deciding and saying to yourself, listen, is this just because I don't know. I'm raising two kids, two girls, and, the simple things of them trying to do things as kids, when they tell me that they can't do it or they want my help, I say to them, no, you can do it. And I don't know if a lot of people have just been raised as, the parents will just wipe their ass for them and tell them that, oh, well, I always talk to Tamara about it. I don't have a son. I haven't been blessed with a son yet, but if I ever get a phone call and I'm not there yet, but I can already sort of see, because it's sort of something that I went through. If I ever get a phone call that they're at a job that they don't like, the last thing I'm going to be doing is just saying, oh, well, fuck that. You don't deserve that. Just go. Talk to them about why. Talk to them about, okay, well, what can you do then? There's so many other angles you can do without throwing the towel in. Because I think when you really start at that foundational stage of doing it, as I said, when you get later in life, when shit actually gets hard, your mentality doesn't go to, I'm just going to fucking leave and walk and go do something better. You're actually going to stay and work it out. And I think that's valuable. I do. So
same.
A little bit of a long-winded answer for you boys, but it's a beautiful thing about a podcast, guys. I can actually give you guys context of what I think. So.
Well, this is a message we got. Sorry, I didn't write your name. So if this is you, thanks for sending it. He said, hey, bro, listen to all your podcasts. Really enjoy listening here from NZ. Learn a lot from them. Pretty keen to make the move over to Oz soon. The culture over there looks good. Your podcast motivates me heaps.
Yeah.
What's your general advice for people moving from NZ? Because I feel like there's always a million people at
100%.
every moment coming.
How many boys we got?
That's so
I think
true.
We've got 3 or 4 boys that have come
Yeah.
straight from NZ. One of them recently moved back for personal reasons. One piece of advice I can have for guys coming across the ditch is very simple. don't, like, you can reach out. Like, I get fucking DMs all the time of guys reaching out from other countries. Fuck, we had one guy reach out from France, another guy from England, Scotland, saying, hey man, fucking followed you guys, like, want to come over. And that's great. Like, reach out. But the one thing I always say to them, tell me when your feet are in Brisbane. That's it. Tell me when you actually land in Brisbane and you can come to our office. And that's it. That's all I say. So, you know, my one piece of advice to them is reach out if you feel. Don't feel like you're going to get it. Don't be disheartened if you don't get a response. Well, as soon as you land in that country and you're able to actually get out to meet this employer face to face, do so. That's when you really want to reach out, because I feel like what a lot of guys try to do is they try to get security before they make the jump. So when they're over in NZ, they want almost reassurance that they're going to land a job before they even leave. There's no promises in the world. So, you know, I'm not going to promise you and say, you know, worries, send me through your resume, I'll give you a job offer now, and then they make the jump. I think they really want to, but they almost are reaching around before they actually come over to see how secure they can get before making the jump. If I had a guy, and this is for anyone that's listening to this from any other country, if you leave your country and you rock up at my doorstep at the office asking for a job, I will give you a job instantly. That's the security that you'll get. That's it. But you have to make that first initial move. You've got to do that. You know, I don't think I'd ever turn down a guy that said, hey man, I've come all the way from fucking England. I followed you from over there. I really want to have a job. I really want a job here. I'd literally walk you into the office and I would sign you up straight away. And I think that would nearly happen in any other employer that you would go to in this country, out of just being absolutely keen to work. But I think a lot of guys, they fuck around with the idea before leaving their country, and they want to have that insurance, that reassurance, that they got a job, you know. And I get it. It'd be fucking difficult. I'd do the same thing probably. But as I said, like if I was going to another country starting from zero again, I would literally be printing out a resume. I'd be getting every office address of the companies that I'd want to work for in that particular area. And I would be saying to my partner and my wife, all right, I need to have this much of a runway. Give me 3 months of pay for myself for when we get there for me to land a job. And within the first 3 weeks, I'd have a job, because I'd be that fucking keen. I'd go there. I'd go to his thing. If he said no, I'd go to his fucking job site. I'd say, I'll work for free. Give me. And that's the other thing too. We're going to get off track here a little bit. Working for free is so fucking, it is almost like people get insulted at that phrase, working for free. I don't think I've ever, in 12 to 14 years, I don't think I have ever been lost, like had a loss on something, when I've gone in with the mentality that I will literally do this for nothing. If anything, it has fucking flipped me so far the other way. Like, and I think a lot of guys get fucking thrown around where they're like, I'm not working for free, I'm better than that.
Yeah.
Right? It's not about the financial thing. It's about the commitment to what you're trying to do. If someone messages me, same thing. If someone messaged me and said, hey man, I will work for free for fucking as long as you need me to prove myself that I want to stay with your company, mate, you've got a job for life. And do you want to know what? The kicker is, I wouldn't even let you work for free. I'd pay you anyway. But just saying it and putting yourself out there to accept that it's unheard of anymore. You're like 1 in a million, literally. So that's another big thing too for guys that are in that position where they're across the ditch, or they're in another country, or they're even just trying to get in with another employer. Do it. What are you losing, man? What are you fucking losing? What are you talking here? You're talking like $500, $1,000. It's nothing. It's nothing. And it's, you know, I don't know. It's just another mentality thing that I think a lot of people miss.
I think both things, like being willing to work for free, and also if you are moving countries, like actually making the move and then ringing these places up. Yeah. I think it shows a lot of like that person's character as well.
100%. 100%. Like if I was to start from zero again and move to America or move to Europe or move to fucking New Zealand and start, I'd literally, I would get a job within a week, because I'd just go there and I would fucking just work. If they said, no, I don't need anyone, I said, all right, you give me as long as you need, I will work for free and I will show you how good I am for free. And I'll just work and I'll bust my ass. And they will literally have no other choice. They'll just sack the guy that's got my job, because I'll be like, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah.
And that's it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to stop you right there. We are now halfway through this episode, and I want to make a special shout out to Ideal Group Australia. Without the employees and the company at Ideal, we would not be able to produce this or bring this podcast to you. Now, welcome back to the episode.
So,
All right, this next question, I seen you did reply to, but I think it's a good one to just expand on anyways.
yeah.
Someone asked, how do you go with employee turnover?
Yeah.
I can't seem to hold apprentices for longer than 2 years. Tried it all, pay more, buy tools over time, the whole lot.
Welcome to the party. I think that's that's it. Welcome to the current market that we currently have. I think statistically, when I originally did it, maybe 3-4 years ago now, I think 33% of apprentices actually complete their trade. So, you know, out of 10, you'll have 3 that'll actually finish their full apprenticeship, and the other 7 will pretty much just fuck off or go somewhere else or whatever, or just not finish it. So I think you just need to get better with being okay with that. Simple. I've been okay with it. You can only do so much, and you can't be everything to everyone. You can't pay through the nose for them. You can't do this. You can't do that. Like, you can, right? You can. I can pay ridiculous money for apprentices and stuff, but also they also cost you a lot. And before anyone fucking chimes in and says, oh yeah, mate, you don't know your numbers well enough. If you fucking lying to yourself, or if an apprentice is piping up saying, oh yeah, but you make fucking heaps, you also don't know the numbers enough.
We have a calculator for that.
DM Nick, he'll send it to you. But yeah, you also don't know the numbers enough to even say that. And I think, like, I have had apprentices that started with me years and years and years ago that now run their own thing, and now they've finally realized and be like, yeah, okay, I get it. You know, I've got other mates that have got companies that don't run apprentices on the sheer basis that on an ABN, they can get a qualified guy marginally more. Like within $5-10 more, they can get a qualified guy. So for them, it doesn't make sense. So, you know, everyone harps on about it. I personally don't like harping on about it because I genuinely like apprentices. I believe that they are the cornerstone of construction, mainly carpenter ones. I don't really care about sparkies and plumbers and that. I do love them to death, right? But I got a real soft spot for carpentry apprentices because, believe it or not, boys, carpentry is the cornerstone of the construction industry, without a doubt. And guys that come through and finish in years to come, even now, even fucking right now when this episode comes out, in Brisbane, Australia as a whole, whatever you want to name it, they are getting paid nearly over and above what plumbers and sparkies are. I had a conversation, I'm going to get back on it. I had a conversation the other day with a guy, and yeah, like I just said to him, I said, mate, like there is such a fucking small pool of carpenters out there. We're now poaching. Essentially, I'm now poaching, going out to crews and poaching guys from other guys because we know we're going through a bit of a thing now. So, you know, for these apprentices that sit in there and want to be plumbers, you know, 4 or 5 years ago, no one wanted to be a carpenter apprentice. Every single guy was going, nah, I'm going to go be a plumber. I'm going to go be a sparky. Now, guess what? They're everywhere. You can get them. You can get a sparky, you can get a plumber, easy. Good luck trying to get a fucking carpenter. You know, you're not going to get them, dude. You're not going to get them. So, you know, for these apprentices, man, when they come through 5-10 years time, these boys are going to be getting paid very, very fucking well, and rightfully so. So, yeah, back to the topic though of how you deal with it. I think you just need to personally be okay with it and understand that if you've got a guy in and he leaves, don't steer away from your values, right? And also, I've got apprentices that have stayed with me now that are really good, that I know are good, that are not only going to turn out to be really good carpenters, but maybe good operators of businesses, or I know for a fact that I want to keep them, right? Not all of them, some of them. I will obviously pay them more and incentivize them more over and on top what I normally would pay other apprentices, but that's rightfully so because they fucking put the effort in. So if you have a guy that's doing that, do that. If he's good, he's good. Pay him well and keep him within fucking reason, right? You also need to make money. You don't want to be bleeding out of your ass. So, but if you've got other guys that are underperforming that they're not getting as much as this guy, you need to make it clear as day as to why, because they're all going to talk. It's all going to get out. Nothing's going to be hush hush. Everyone's going to know what everyone's on. But when you have those conversations where you got Donnie, fucking these two guys sitting next door, and you got one guy you're paying this guy, and this other guy you're paying this guy, and he goes, "But why does he get that?" The only thing you need to say is, "Well, do you do as much as him? Are you as good as him?" You know what he's going to say? No. So there you fucking go. There you go. So, but yeah, just be okay with guys leaving. And not everyone's going to stay for the journey. And a lot of boys have just got their own shit going on. They've got a lot of their own personal battles going on. And you can't help them all. You're not a charity fund. Some guys, you know, they only think about the paycheck. They don't actually think about the value, how much better they can get, what they can give back. It's always just about the money. It's always just about how much more I can get. Those guys, funny enough, the ones that focus on the money the most are the ones that make the least. And that is the truth. That is the truth. In the long term, I'm talking about not only for job security, pay, everything, career pathways, so much more. The more you focus on the dollars, and it's the same in business, guys. Same in business. It's the same fucking thing. The start, the more you focus on the money, the less you'll make, because you're not focusing on how much value you can give your client, how much, you know, better you can get at your job, how good the culture is. All you're worried about is how much money you're making. So, you know, it gets you fucking nowhere. So there you go. There's my answer.
It's a good answer. All right, this next person just sent through a bunch of topics. They said, like, you guys should talk about these things. The first one, which is kind of related to what we just talked about, seeking unicorns doesn't help the trade shortage.
So you mean as in...
So I talked to this guy a bit. I think what he was trying to get at was like, obviously there's a trade shortage in construction, but then a lot of business owners are always looking for, like, you know, that unicorn, the best of the best.
Yeah.
But I think he was getting at like if you're just seeking the best, it's not going to fix the trade shortage.
Yeah.
So like what should be like the medium?
This day and age, guys, the medium is so low. It doesn't... You show up, you speak English, you got tools, you work hard every day, you don't complain, you do your hours. That is nearly what a unicorn is. It is so, as far as fixing, you know, I think there's two parts of that statement. As far as fixing the trade shortage, well, it comes down to apprentices. That's the only way we're going to fix it. You know, we're going through a bit of a thing at the moment where we're doing R&D on a couple of jobs where they're trying to fix the industry in regards to labour resources, and we're doing work where what would normally take a crew of, say, 16 guys is now only taking a crew of maybe 8. But that's just the type of work. So developers and builders, but that's a fucking, you know, that's a 2-3 year journey that we're on with that at the moment. And I think it'll work. But is it going to fix it? I don't believe so. I think the only way truly to fix it is, you know, shit's going to get more expensive, whether people like it or not. And the companies that don't align with that are going to be left behind. Same goes with the developers and builders. You know, every builder that you follow in Australia, or anyone that listens or whatever, they all reckon that they're the best of the best. I'm the best builder. I do the best product, the best guys, the best systems, the best specifications, the best of the best, the best. That's fine. Go out there and get clients and sign contracts all day. No one's going to build it because you don't have enough guys. So that's something that we see a lot of. Is it's very easy for developers and builders to go through and get contract after contract after contract. But who the fuck is actually going to build those structures? If you're a builder and you're only running 8 guys, what are you talking, 2-3 jobs a year? That's it. You're only doing 2 or 3 houses.
Yeah.
Mate, we're falling behind thousands of homes a year. So, how do you fix it? Don't know. I'm trying to do my best to not only build a scalable business where I can employ a shit ton of carpenters and apprentices and create a really good culture to facilitate some of this work that we've got. But I think the other thing that we are hush-hush about is the other projects that we've got going on. The R&D, the research and development sort of stuff that we're doing behind the scene, which no one fucking knows about yet. So, and if we crack the code on that in the next 12 to 18 months, I really believe that will probably be the biggest impact to changing how we do housing in Australia. Yep. It's costing a shit ton of money at the moment for the developers and that are part of it, and we're a part of it as well to do it. But if it gets done and it works and it stacks, which I believe it will stack eventually, to give you guys a little bit of context, you'll be able to build a typical low set home within a week. Yeah. And everyone's going to go, what? That's what I meant.
Yep.
You'll be able to do it within a week. So, and I'm talking fully painted, skinned inside, outside, windows in. So, and that would nearly be what normally would take. That build now would take maybe 12 months, 6-9 months to do. We reckon we could do it in about 10 days completed. So there you go. And I think that'll happen, but that's a big journey. And, when we get the opportunity to release details about that, we will. So, yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait to talk about that. Anyways, moving on. The same person said, money over passion for carpentry is killing the trade. Like, from me, someone who's not in the industry, I sort of see both sides where it's like, as the employee, obviously you get into it because you're interested at some level.
Yeah.
But then as the employer, like, you need money to run these businesses and employ those guys.
Yeah. It's a good topic, this one. I like it because a lot of guys, and I think that's the thing is, this whole passion for carpentry thing, I think it's another little bit of a marketing ploy, a bit. Eventually all renovations will be done, right? So the old school way of carpentry is evolving. I think a lot of guys, and don't get me wrong, I fully believe there's a time and place for learning how to mortise windows and pitch rafter roofs and you're doing, like, I feel like there is a time and a place for that, learning to do that. Is it dying? Yes. But it's also evolving into the next phase of what actual carpentry and building construction actually is. So as far as the question about passion and money, is it killing the passion? I don't believe so. I think guys that are passionate about carpentry will find niches of work that enable them to be passionate about it. Does it mean that I think that they're going to take a pay cut in years to come? For sure. I think if you want to go that pathway, you're going to pay with it. You're going to pay for going that way at a lesser pay. Because to be fair, you've got, prime example, you might be on a job that would require that old school carpentry stuff. And yeah, before anyone chimes in, there's a lot of fucking jobs where you might have, like, they'll preach that they're paying for ridiculous money for old school. Yeah, but that's like one job that this builder might do in his fucking career, right? But I'm talking for the masses. A lot of the cases you'll find that the money won't really align, and that particular carpenter won't actually be getting remunerated as much as what, say, the guys that do evolve into carpentry now that are shifting their passion, not losing it, shifting it into a different aspect. And, like for the stuff that we do, which I know for a fact, we pay more than what a normal resi builder would pay for his carpenters. And that's fucking the truth. But that's only because we've adapted and we've also changed markets. So, we outprice normal builders for carpenters on what we can pay our guys, because we're just in a different game. And I think that's where it becomes hard, because you're a guy that's stuck in your ways, that you only want to be doing hand-pitched stuff. You only want to be doing mortise windows and mortise locks and fucking all this sort of stuff. You only want to be doing that, but then you're up against it because, you might not be getting paid as well. And don't get me wrong, there's a couple of guys out there that might actually still pay that premium money for that premium product. But as I said, I'm not talking to that. I'm talking to the masses, so there you go.
That's, you said something that I found very interesting. You said there will be a point where like pretty much all renovations have been renovated.
100%.
So like what do you think the next level of like, I don't know how to word this.
Now, just back to that little statement, because I did say it, and I think a lot of guys are saying the same thing. Yes, there'll always be renovations, right? So a house that gets renovated today, more than likely, is going to get renovated again in 50 years.
Yeah.
But the scale of those you won't be renovating an old house.
Yeah.
You'll be renovating a house that's built in today's market.
It'll be like the job itself will be a lot smaller.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. And the products and stuff, it'll just change a little bit. Because from a client's perspective as well, it's hard. It's hard, right? I know both sides, and it is hard because there's so many different niches of builders, and people deliver certain products to particular markets. You got new homes, you got renovating builders, you got guys that are trying to do some fucking, environmental things with houses and stuff like that. So everyone's got their own lane, but their lane is minute to what we're seeing at the moment. It's about this big compared to this big. So, and that's we're in the other lane that I'm seeing now. So that's what I mean. It's not about that they don't know that it'll be completely done and we'll never be renovating. We definitely will, but it will get to the point where all these houses that are old, that are requiring that finesse and stuff, like it will die down a little bit.
Yeah. So like in like 10 to 20 years ish time, when like every Queenslander's already been transformed into like some fancy house.
Yep.
Like, what do you think will be the new like entry point for guys trying to go out on their own with like a 2-man crew?
I have a feeling it'll be doing the stuff that we're doing. Yeah. I have a feeling that when I do get the opportunity to disclose what it is, I have a feeling that, and it's a bit of a longer play than that, I think in the next 10 years, I think that's the way that it will go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that comes down to the game old thing. Is this still carpentry or is it not?
Yeah.
Well, I think we'll just go through another evolution. And whether or not you change or you want to stay in your old ways, that's entirely up to you. The stuff that I'm talking about, shits all over the energy efficiencies, the ergonomics of the housing, the product itself when it's done, 10 stars. It's how it's built and how it's constructed would shit all over a renovated house that gets fully redone for the environment and everything like that. Hand on heart, it's way better. Way better acoustics, way better thermal, stronger. There's so many other things that are better with it. And if you think I'm talking shit, I will show you guys. When I get the opportunity, I will show you.
This is the introduction of the website in the 2000s of the internet.
Yes.
Okay, so last one. Just to end it on apprentices, because that's sort of our thing on social media.
Yeah, I know.
This guy asks, is it just me or young fellas against manual labor?
It's not you. I think that's the truth.
Yeah.
I think a lot of guys are turning down doing hard work, doing manual laboring tasks because they could probably earn better money or easier money doing something else. Being a content creator, there's so many other ways now than there was 10 years ago. So it is hard. And I think, You can beat your head up against a wall and be one of those guys that says, oh, you know, the current generation's fucked. I don't think so. I think they just got more options. I think they've got more options to do different things. But in saying that, you know, the guys that do love it, that stay in it, I'm telling you now that they're going to be earning way more than fucking Johnny that thinks that he can sell teddy bears online. You know, I've had guys come in here and say they want the world, they want to take over the world and do this and do that, but then when it comes to doing it, they question it and they're like, oh, I don't know if I want to do this, and they start chasing the shiny lights of doing those easier tasks. But yeah, so you're not alone. That's just the current market. So
Yeah, I fully agree.
yeah. That's it.
I think that was all the questions we got.
Beautiful.
Thank you for listening.
Alrighty, guys. We will see you on the next one.